Hey everyone, welcome to Homeschool. Hope everyone are doing good. In this video, I have come up with the most important concepts that you should compulsorily study for SSLC 2024 examination. Okay, so branch by branch, I will go on listing you out the important concepts and do check it out whether you have studied these concepts or not, because they are really very important and you can expect few of the concepts in the 2024 board examination. Okay, see, coming to chemistry branch. See, you all know you have to study 5 chapters under chemistry, right? So coming to the first chapter, chemical equations and reactions. See, you should know how to write chemical equation and balancing. So balancing is very important. Okay, so they'll give you word equation. First you should convert to skeletal equation and then balance it. Okay, so this is a very simple topic, you should not forget, right? And after this, you know, decomposition reaction. See whether you have studied decomposition reactions or not. So question can be asked in any ways about the decomposition reaction. You again have 3 types of decomposition reaction, right? One was photochemical decomposition, thermal decomposition and electrolysis, right? So you should remember all examples that are there in NCERT textbook. Okay, so conceptual questions can be asked. See, photochemical decomposition, decomposition of silver chloride and silver bromide into silver and chlorine bromine. So these reactions are used in black and white photography, right? So that concept you should know. And thermal decomposition, see, when you heat ferrous sulfate, you will get ferric oxide, color changes, color of the gases, and the lead nitrate decomposition, color changes, color of the gases, all of them can be asked here. And coming to electrolysis, electrolysis is just breaking of water, right? H2O will break into H2 and O2, and more amount of, if you have to try to balance this reaction, this is how you will balance. So they'll ask you which one is formed at cathode and which one is formed at anode. Definitely H2 is formed at cathode and O2 is formed at anode, right? And among them, which is formed in more amount and why, they will ask you. So among them, definitely H2 is formed in more amount. Okay, so more volume of H2 is formed because the ratio of hydrogen in water is more as compared to oxygen, right? So conceptual questions you can expect. And next thing that you should definitely focus is displacement reactions. So you all know displacement reaction, the very famous reaction that we studied was when you add zinc to copper sulfate solution, you know, blue color of copper sulfate solution will be changed into colorless zinc sulfate plus copper is formed. Okay, so why is blue color changed and all those reasons they will ask you. Okay, so which element is more reactive than which element, you know, this idea you should have to decide answers about displacement reaction. Okay, and the fourth factor that you have to concentrate is double displacement reaction. Definition is important, and there you have this example, no, lead nitrate when treated with potassium iodide, you will get yellow precipitate of lead iodide and potassium nitrate. This reaction is important. Okay, so this is the best example of double displacement reaction, or it can also be called as precipitation reaction. Okay, so the examples of double displacement is important. And the most commonly asked questions from this chapter for MCQ point of view or for 1 mark point of view is which one is oxidized or which one is reduced type of questions. Okay, say suppose if you have this reaction CuO plus H2 giving Cu plus H2O. So they'll ask you which one is reduced. So you should carefully observe here, right? See, CuO got converted to Cu. Removal of oxygen is called reduction. So this is reduction and this is oxidation. So you have to say CuO is reduced, H2 is oxidized. You know, these type of questions also you can expect from this chapter. And finally corrosion. Okay, so corrosion examples you should know, and rancidity definition you should know, and how do you prevent rancidity. So about nitrogen gas, you should know nitrogen gas is used as antioxidant, right? So all that idea you should have. So altogether, these are the important concepts that you should definitely learn from this chapter, chemical reactions and equations. Okay, so now going to acids, bases and salts. Okay, so in this chapter, first thing, focus on indicators. You should know some examples of natural indicators, okay, artificial indicators, and olfactory indicators are very important. Many times this question was asked, olfactory indicators and its examples are clove and vanilla, right? So these are examples of olfactory indicators. And later, acid reaction of acid with metals. Okay, so you will get salt and hydrogen gas, isn't it? Examples you must know how to write. And how do you test hydrogen gas? They will ask you. Hydrogen gas is tested by keeping a burning candle near to it. So when you keep a burning candle, it burns with a pop sound, right? So all those you should have an idea about. And next thing is reaction of acid with metal carbonate and metal bicarbonate. Okay, so equation they'll ask you to write, okay, what are the products are formed, that way they can ask you salt plus water plus carbon dioxide. And again they'll ask you how do you test the presence of carbon dioxide. So this is tested by lime water reaction, right? So lime water test. So you should know how to write the chemical equation for lime water test. Okay, and then reaction of acid plus metallic oxide, this also you should know. Okay, so you will get salt and water here, so you should know at least one example to write. Okay, so these chemical reactions are very important. And most importantly, neutralization reaction you should never forget. Okay, so what are neutralization reactions? Give example. They'll ask you why neutralization reactions are called endothermic. Those things also they can ask you. Okay, so all about neutralization reaction. And then in this chapter, give reasons type of questions also you have to concentrate. Give reasons. Okay, so why is acid should be added to water, right? And then why acid solution conducts electricity, right? Why acid solution, I mean in a wet condition it can change the litmus paper, in dry condition it cannot change. So give reasons questions you should concentrate from the chapter, right? And then simple definitions like what is acid rain, how it is caused. Okay, so antacids, then what else you have? Tooth decay, about tooth decay you should know, right? And then questions based on pH they can ask you, like giving certain compounds A, B, C, D, which has got a pH 2, 3, 5, 6, which among them has least pH, which among them has more pH, that pH related questions you should know, you should be knowing it. Okay, and coming to preparations, coming to the salt category, NaOH preparation, chlor-alkali process is very important. And uses, all kind of salts uses you should know. Uses of sodium carbonate, okay, uses of sodium bicarbonate, uses of plaster of Paris, uses of bleaching powder. Okay, bleaching powder uses. So all these are very simple questions. You should not forget uses of NaOH, Cl2, H2. Okay, so definitely I think from this part one question may come. They may ask you the uses or they may ask you their preparation reactions. So you have studied how to prepare NaOH, preparation of sodium carbonate and all of them. Okay, so these are some very important things that you should concentrate from the chapter acid, bases and salt. Now coming to metals and non-metals chapter. Okay, so under metals and non-metals chapter, okay, so again here give reason questions are very common, guys. Many times give reason questions have been asked. So you have to be prepared for give reasons question. Why gold is used to make jewelry, right? So all these kinds of questions are frequently asked. Okay, so you should know about the physical properties of metals and non-metals. Okay, so what are the differences between metals and non-metals based on physical properties, and you have certain exceptions, right? So you have certain exceptions. For example, you know, mercury is the metal which is only liquid. Okay, and alkali metals like sodium, lithium, etc., they have you know, soft, they are soft and they can even cut with a knife. Okay, so all these exceptions. Gallium is the element that can get melted over a palm because it has less melting point. Okay, and then iodine is a non-metal but still it is lustrous. Okay, so and non-metal carbons, one of the form graphite. Graphite is a allotropic form of carbon which is a good conductor of electricity. Okay, so all these exceptions you should be noting it down and remember. Okay, and coming to chemical properties of metals and non-metals, so you should again learn some chemical reactions like metals, how they react with acids. Okay, metals reacting with acids, metals reacting with oxygen, metals reacting with water. Okay, so again, like if you come to metals reacting with water, sodium, potassium are very violent. Why, they will ask you. Calcium floats in a water. Why, they will ask you. Okay, so conceptually you should be thorough in all these aspects. Coming to metals plus oxygen, you know, here you have something called amphoteric oxides. So this is the most important question, guys. Amphoteric oxide. What are amphoteric oxide? Give examples, they'll ask you. You know, zinc oxide and aluminium oxide are the best examples of amphoteric oxide. Why do we call them as amphoteric oxides? It's because they react with both acids and bases to give salt and water. That's why they are called amphoteric oxides. Okay, so all these questions are very important here. And few more important aspects from the chapter is, you know, how ionic bond is formed, all about ionic compounds. Okay, so you should know ionic bond formation. Okay, so they'll ask you, how is NaCl formed, how is sodium oxide formed, how is magnesium chloride formed. You know, so for you must know with dot structure, you must explain the formation of these compounds, so that you can expect for the examination. Okay, and then properties of ionic compounds is again one of the very important concept, properties of ionic compounds. Okay, so this you should not forget. You know, they'll be asking why ionic compounds in liquid state conduct electricity, but in solid state they do not conduct electricity. So all those I told you, know, give reasons questions can be of anything from the chapter, so focus on give reasons questions. Okay, so after this, you know, coming to the extraction part, so there is that last part in a chapter, no? So here calcination and roasting. Calcination, roasting, you have to concentrate. So what are the differences between calcination and roasting, they will ask you. And you should know extraction, learn extraction of zinc, okay, from zinc sulfide and zinc carbonate. So you should know how to write the chemical equations here. And you also have here aluminothermite reaction. Aluminothermite reaction is there, no? So that you concentrate. And then refining of copper. Refining of copper, that last part with diagram it is there, no? That also you should be focusing. Okay, and then you have different points about alloys. Okay, so under the topic corrosion, how to prevent corrosion, in that topic alloying is one of the method. So different alloys, their composition, about amalgams, don't forget, for 1 mark point of view, even this concept is important for scoring. So if you are looking for scoring good mark, then you should definitely focus on these concepts. Okay, fine. So that's all about metals and non-metals chapter. Okay, so coming to carbon compounds chapter. So under carbon compounds chapter, first thing that you should never ever forget is to know about functional groups. Functional groups, naming of carbon compound, and suppose this group is called as alcoholic group, right? So these things, identification of functional group is important, guys. As you know, C double bond OH is called as aldehyde group. C double bond OH is called as carboxylic acid group, right? And C double bond O, just if C double bond O is there, it is called as ketonic group. And OH group is named as OL. CHO group is named as AL, COOH is named as oic acid, and C double bond O is named as ONE. The group and group name, its identification and naming of certain compounds is important. So whichever the compounds that are there in your NCERT textbook, those compounds only naming you practice properly. So this is one of the important topic. Okay, so along with that, the small definitions like catenation. Okay, so catenation definition, very simple. Self-linking capacity is called catenation. Okay, so small definition. And then soaps, cleansing action of soaps. Cleansing action of soap is important. And then you studied ethanol and ethanoic acid in a chapter, right? So this is the last part of a chapter actually. Ethanol, you have 2 chemical reactions. Ethanoic acid, 4 chemical reactions are there. So in ethanol, we have studied how ethanol reacts with what is that? Sodium, that is metals like sodium, okay, and how ethanol undergoes dehydration, okay, to give alkene. Both reactions are important. And here 4 reactions we studied. Reaction of ethanoic acid with metals, reaction of ethanoic acid with sodium carbonate, esterification reaction, saponification reaction. Okay, so it is better to study them properly, because definitely one of the question can be asked. Okay, so it can be application based question also based on these 2 topics. So guys, if you are looking for scoring a good mark, then don't forget this concept, very very important. Okay, so other than this, you should focus on the 4 types of carbon compounds reaction, like oxidation reaction is there. Okay, so this was asked in the pre-board also, no? So ethanol, here ethanol gets converted into ethanoic acid, right? Ethanol converts into ethanoic acid in presence of oxidizing agent called KMNO4, potassium permanganate or potassium dichromate. So this reaction is very important. Substitution reactions are there. Okay, substitution reactions, so they'll ask you only saturated hydrocarbons undergo substitution, whereas unsaturated hydrocarbons undergo addition reaction. Okay, so this is very very important to understand. Unsaturated hydrocarbons addition, saturated hydrocarbon substitution reaction. Okay, and then so one more topic here you should not forget is homologous series. Okay, so in a chapter you have something called homologous series. So they'll give you a set of formulas and they'll ask you to pick which among them belong to homologous series or not. That sort of questions also you can expect. So these are some of the very very important topics you should not forget to study to improve your score from the chapter carbon compounds. Okay, so now let us talk about periodic classification of elements. See, periodic classification of elements is a very simple chapter. You can expect 4-mark question from this particular chapter, periodic table chapter. Okay, and all these questions will be conceptual. You should completely have an idea about the periodic table. Okay, say they'll give you a kind of information in the boxes, period number, group number they'll give you, and they'll ask you which among them is larger in size, which is more electronegative, which is more reactive. Okay, so which is more metallic, which forms acidic oxide, which forms basic oxide. So this way, group number, period number they'll give, atomic number they'll mention, and all these sub questions they'll ask you. See, these questions are very common for 10th board examination, and do prepare. Apart from these types of question, if you can focus on these questions, then also it is beneficial. Okay, so you should know definitions like modern periodic law, and one more thing you have is Mendeleev's periodic law, right? Mendeleev's periodic law. So both are important. And then achievements and limitations. So try to remember achievements and limitations of Mendeleev's periodic law, and Newland's octaves. Okay, so these are some theoretical questions. Point wise you have to write the answers. Okay, so these are some aspects you should be studying in the chapter periodic classification of elements. Okay, so this is all about the important concepts that you should focus on chemistry part. Okay, so if you can focus on these topics that I am telling you, definitely you can score very good mark in a chemistry part, like 25 marks worth questions are there, no? So definitely nearly like about 20, okay, out of 25 about 20 definitely you can score if you can concentrate on these topics. I mean, not just mugging up these concepts, that will not help you. Clearly you should understand and study. Only then any sort of question that they ask on a concept, you will be in a position to answer. Okay, so mugging up again will not help you here. So whatever the concepts I told, everything you should understand and study, only then it benefits you. Okay, and coming to biology part. So now I am discussing biology part. So coming to the chapter life processes, in life processes chapter, focus on all diagrams, guys. Definitely 3 marks worth or 4 marks worth, 3 to 4 marks, okay, worth diagrams can be asked from life processes. And coming to the theoretical questions, concept is actually very huge. Theoretical questions you should be knowing about stomata, closing and stomata, how it gets regulated, and that you should know. And events of photosynthesis, 3 steps are there, how photosynthesis takes place, so that you should know. And later you should be knowing about raw materials of photosynthesis. So very simple, carbon dioxide, sunlight, all of them can be used as raw materials, right? So events of photosynthesis, raw materials of photosynthesis, and then coming to the digestion in human beings. Okay, so digestion in stomach. So explain how digestion in stomach takes place, digestion in small intestine takes place. Okay, so all these things they will ask you, right? Fine. And then coming to the respiration, alveoli importance, don't forget to remember. Okay, and then double circulation, what is the importance of double circulation, they may ask you. And then difference between veins and arteries, you should not forget, right? And urine formation and function of nephron, and all these are most frequently asked direct type of questions, guys. So focus on these theoretical aspects apart from the diagrams. Okay, fine. And coming to control coordination, in control coordination chapter you should not forget about hormones. Okay, so which hormone, where it is produced, and what is its function, that's the most important question. So let me list out all the hormones. So first one is a growth hormone, right? So growth hormone, it is produced in pituitary gland, okay, and then it helps in the growth of a body. Okay, and the overproduction of growth hormone leads to a disease called gigantism, okay, and less production of growth hormone leads to a disease called dwarfism. Okay, so this is the important hormone that you should not forget. Then thyroxine, Okay, so thyroxine hormone, it is produced in thyroid gland. Okay, and this hormone is helpful for the metabolism of carbohydrates, proteins and fats, right? Proteins and fats. And iodine is necessary for the production of thyroxine hormone. Deficiency of iodine leads to a disease called goiter. Okay, and then you have this adrenaline hormone. Okay, is produced in adrenal gland. I'm just writing it in a short form. AG means adrenal gland, and this helps to control heartbeat, helps in controlling heartbeat, blood pressure, etc. Okay, so insulin, next hormone is insulin. So insulin is produced in pancreas, right? And this hormone regulates blood sugar level, it controls blood sugar levels, right? And apart from this, you have hormones like testosterone. Okay, testosterone and progesterone. Progesterone is found in ovaries, okay, and testosterone is found in testis. Okay, so this hormone helps in the development of female characters, and this hormone helps in the development of male characters. Okay, so these are about animal hormone, I mean human hormones that you should know. Apart from this, plant hormones and their function also, auxins, gibberellins, okay, and then abscisic acid, and then you also have cytokinins. Auxins helps in the growth of a shoot. Okay, gibberellins helps in the growth of a stem. Abscisic acid helps in the wilting of leaves, it inhibits the growth. Cytokinins helps in cell division. Okay, so this is the most important topic from control coordination you should know. And apart from this, you know, human brain, different parts and their uses. Okay, so cerebrum, cerebellum, medulla, you know, what controls, which actions are controlled by cerebellum, which actions are controlled by medulla, and all of them you have to know. Okay, so the most commonly asked question is these two. Okay, so different parts of brain and their uses, I mean which part they control, and about all these animal and plant hormones. Okay, apart from this, you should know what is actually reflex arc and reflex arc actions. Reflex actions and reflex arc, about that also you should be knowing. Okay, fine. So that is all about control coordination chapter. And coming to heredity and evolution. Okay, so this is the chapter most of them feel it difficult. Okay, so heredity and evolution, about heredity and evolution, all the important questions I made a live class. Okay, so you can please go and watch the live class about heredity and evolution chapter. So I gave you 10 must study questions of the chapter heredity and evolution in the live class. So go to the live classes and you will find complete revision on heredity and evolution. Don't forget to watch that video. So 10 questions I have covered. So study all the 10 questions, it will be beneficial. Okay. And coming to how do organisms reproduce? How do organisms reproduce? This is a very simple chapter, right? So here definitely you should focus on two important questions. One is male reproductive system. The other one is female reproductive system. So they'll ask you different parts and their functions, guys. Okay, different parts of male reproductive systems and their functions, right? So testis function they will ask you, associate glands function you have to write, vas deferens function you have to write. Okay, and again in the female reproductive system, ovary, oviduct, uterus, vagina. Okay, so different parts and their function, point wise if you can write, it's enough. Okay, so if they ask these questions, they can be asked for 3 or 4 mark. For 3 or 4 mark, this is a very important concept. Okay, fine. And later placenta and its importance. What is placenta? You should be knowing about the structure of placenta and its importance. Okay, at least 2 points. Placenta helps in the exchange of gases and placenta helps in providing nutrition to a baby. Okay, so this much if you mention, it is enough. And later, sexually transmitted diseases, don't forget to study. You just have 4 diseases. One is HIV, AIDS, okay, so genital warts, gonorrhea and syphilis. Okay, syphilis. So gonorrhea, syphilis are bacterial diseases. For MCQ they may ask you, and these two are viral diseases. Okay, and other than this, methods of contraception you should be knowing. Okay, like barrier method, surgical method, all of them you should have an idea about. Apart from this, asexual reproduction methods. Okay, fission is there, binary fission is there, that you don't forget. Fragmentation, and most importantly, vegetative propagation. So importance of vegetative propagation they may ask you. Okay, so this question is also very important. Okay, so these are some important aspects of how do organisms reproduce. And again here diagrams, germination of pollen tube, don't forget, germination of pollen tube, and cross section of flower. Okay, so flower diagram is also very important. Okay, practice these topics related questions properly. So that's all about how do organisms reproduce, right? Fine. And coming to our environment chapter. So very simple chapter. From our environment you can expect a 2-mark question, just a 2-mark question may come from here. So here the major thing you should concentrate is food chain. Okay, so food chain and trophic levels. Okay, and then biomagnification in the sense accumulation of chemicals, right? More and more from producers to consumers. So that biomagnification you should be knowing it. So these are the 3 topics you should concentrate from our environment chapter. And coming to sustainable management of natural resources. Okay, so from that chapter you can expect 3 marks worth question. Okay, sustainable management, 3-mark worth questions you can expect from the chapter. For that you need to concentrate stakeholders of forest. Forest are biodiversity hotspots. Why, they will ask you. So forests are biodiversity hotspots because large number of plant and animal species are available in the forest, right? Various plant species and animal species. So they are called biodiversity hotspots. And stakeholders, the local people are one stakeholders, government, forest department, and then industrialist, and then nature enthusiast. So these are the stakeholders of forest. About them you should be knowing. Okay, and then apart from this you should concentrate on water harvesting techniques, which you have as watershed management. Okay, so about watershed management you should be knowing. And in watershed management you have ancient methods of watershed management, Kadins and all of them, surangams and everything, which state, which ancient technique is used, all of them. Okay, and then next topic is about the dams, the problems that come for the construction of larger dams. So you have 3 problems here, right? Social problems are there, economical problems you have studied, okay, and then economical problems and environmental problems. So these 3 problems of constructing dams, all of them you should be aware of. Okay, so these are some important topics that you can study. Okay, without forgetting, you have to focus these topics. I'm not telling study only these topics. I'm just telling you the topics which you should not forget. Okay, fine. So that's all about the biology part. And coming to physics part. Okay, most of you are worried about physics part, right? So see, to score very nicely under physics part, okay, so mainly you should concentrate the light chapter. From light chapter, almost around 6 to 7 mark worth question will definitely come. Okay, so all ray diagrams, among all ray diagrams, one ray diagram is compulsorily come, and one problem on ray diagrams. Focus on problems relating to ray diagrams. Okay, and then power of lens you concentrate. Okay, so you have power is equal to 1 by f. So small problems relating to power of lens. Focal length they'll give you, power they'll ask you, or power they'll give you, focal length they'll ask you. So that sort of questions you can focus. Okay. Next topic that you should concentrate is meaning of different terms, guys. In case of mirrors as well as in lenses, you studied so many terms like pole is there, then principal axis, focus point, curvature. Okay, curvature, and then you have optic center. You will observe in lenses, right? So all these various terms and their meanings. Okay, so definitely you have to focus. And then uses of concave and convex lenses is very, very important. Okay, and then apart from that, you can also expect a question on refractive index, guys, most important. So they'll give you A, B, C, D. A has refractive index 1.5, B has 1.2, C has 1, and D has 3.2. So in which of the medium light travels faster? See, always refractive index is inversely proportional to speed of light. Okay, so lesser the refractive index, more nicely the light can travel, right? So least refractive index is for C. So in case of C, speed of light is more. So like that, conceptual questions can be asked on refractive index, or they'll ask you refractive index of diamond is 1.5 something. What does it mean? Their meanings they'll ask you. Right? So these are the very, very important things that you should concentrate. And apart from this, you also have simple questions like laws of reflection and laws of refraction. That also you should not forget. Okay, so these are some important topics that you should not forget from the chapter light. And later, another chapter from which more number of questions can come is electricity chapter. Okay, so electricity. So in this electricity chapter, for MCQ or for 1 mark, learn the devices and their importance. Devices. Okay, so you have studied so many devices, right? Ammeter, voltmeter. Okay, voltmeter is there. Rheostat. And then in the magnetic effect chapter, galvanometer, motor, generator. Okay, so their uses you must know. Ammeter is used to measure current, voltmeter is used to measure voltage, rheostat is used to control the current or resistance, galvanometer detects current. This ammeter measures current. It measures current, whereas galvanometer detects current. Electric motor converts electrical energy into mechanical energy, whereas generator converts opposite, mechanical energy into electrical energy. Okay, so all these devices and their uses you must know. And later, definitions of 1 volt. What is 1 volt? What is 1 ampere? And what is 1 watt? What is 1 ohm? These definitions for 1 mark point of view, you should be knowing it. Okay, and later you should work with the problems. See, problems can be of anything, guys. Problems can be asked on resistivity, cost related problems, calculation of consumption of electrical energy. Okay, so what is the total cost of electrical energy? So that sort of questions. And then circuit. Okay, circuit diagram they'll give you, calculation regarding series and parallel combinations. Okay, and then calculations regarding heating effect. You have this H is equal to I square RT formula is there, no? So these formulas, these problems relating to these concepts, practice it properly. Definitely 3 marks worth, 3 to 4 marks worth problems will come from electricity chapter. Okay, so apart from that, diagram of simple circuit and diagram of series connection, parallel connection. Okay, so all these are also important only. So that is something that you should focus from electricity chapter to improve the score. And electric bulb and electric fuse, electric bulb and electric fuse. So these are also important to study. So concentrate them, right? So that's all about from electricity. Now coming to magnetic effect of electric current. So that is one of the simple chapter. Here you should not forget to revise the principle, construction and working of motor, and the same thing, principle, construction and working of generator. Okay, so don't forget, guys, this is one of the most important and expected question. And after that, Faraday's experiments. There are 2 Faraday's experiments, right? Faraday's experiments, about them question can be asked in any ways. Okay, directly or indirectly question can be asked. You have 2 experiment. One is coil and magnet experiment. Coil and magnet experiment. The other one is coil and coil experiment. Okay, so both experiments you should be knowing it. Okay, and then definitions like short circuiting, overloading, how it is caused and how do you prevent, and earthing. About earthing you should have an idea. And most importantly, thumb rules. You have 3 thumb rules in a chapter, right? One is Maxwell's right hand thumb rule, Fleming's left hand thumb rule, and Fleming's right hand thumb rule. Okay, so all the 3 thumb rules are very, very important. Okay, and conceptual questions also can be asked on what factors the magnetic field in a circular coil depends. How does the magnetic field appear in a solenoid? Okay, so all these conceptual questions also you can expect from the chapter, guys. And one more simple question, properties of magnetic field lines. Properties of magnetic field lines. Okay, and that small diagram is there, no? So when you label it from north to south pole, magnetic field lines always move from north to south and inside south to north. So that small diagram, whatever is there, that also you have to practice. Okay, so this is all about magnetic effect of electric current that you should concentrate. And coming to human eye and colorful world. Human eye chapter. Human eye diagram you have to practice. It may come. Okay, so practice the diagram. And later the eye defects. Don't forget the eye defects. Whatever you studied in a chapter, myopia, hypermetropia, okay, and then presbyopia, cataract. Okay, so all these eye defects you should have an idea how these defects are caused. Okay, so what exactly we mean by a defect and everything is important. And then apart from this, you should be knowing how rainbow is formed. How rainbow is formed you should know, and why stars twinkle. Stars twinkle. Why sky is blue. So all these reasons. And then Tyndall effect. Tyndall effect, very very important. Scattering of light causes Tyndall effect, right? Delayed sunset and early sunrise. Delayed sunset and early sunrise. Reasons for this they'll ask you. And sky appears red during sunset. Why is the reason? What is the reason? Okay, so for all of them you should be learning the reasons. Okay, and then prism experiments, right? So Newton's that prism experiment also don't forget. So he has done an experiment on dispersion of light, right? So about the dispersion of light, whatever the experiment, recombination of white light experiment is there, no? So that one also you have to focus. So these are the things that you should focus from this particular chapter. And coming to the last chapter, sources of energy. Sources of energy, you know, maybe 3 mark worth questions may come from the chapter. So here you should know qualities of good fuel. Qualities of good fuel. Okay, so 4 points are there, no? That you should learn. And about fossil fuels. What are fossil fuels? And how they are responsible for causing pollutions, all of them. And then coming to biogas plant, everything about biogas plant you learn, guys. Advantages, what is biomass, what is biogas, what is the composition of biogas. Okay, so biogas production, how it is done, what advantages are there, everything about biogas plant is very very important. Okay, fine. And after that, solar energy. Okay, alternative sources of energy. You have solar energy, no? In this topic, learn about solar cells and solar cookers. Okay, about this concept you should be knowing. And nuclear energy, learn about nuclear energy and how this is produced, how that is converted to electricity. Okay, so these are some important concepts you should not forget to study from the chapter called sources of energy. Okay, so usually definitely one MCQ or one mark question definitely comes from this particular chapter. Okay, fine. And again in the sustainable management you have studied the 5 R's to save environment, you know, reduce, reuse, recycle, you know, about the 5 R's also you should learn. Okay, so that is one important question I missed from sustainable management of natural resource. Okay, so guys, whatever the concepts I told chapter wise, focus on them, don't forget. Okay, and I'm not telling study only these questions, no, these are the most expected, already most repeated questions. Okay, so they can get repeated in this year's board exam also. So these topics you should not forget to study. Okay, so if you want to improve your score, you know, you should understand all the topics and study. Mugging up will not help you to improve the score. Maybe mugging up will help to get passing mark. But if you want to score very good mark, understanding concept is very very important. And moreover, your paper presentation should be very very good, guys. So underline the key points in biology. All biology answers have to be point wise, and in case of chemistry answers, all equations have to be in a balanced form, otherwise marks will get cut. Okay, so diagrams have to be neat and precise, label properly. So these are some small points that you should keep in a mind for science examination. Okay, and you know what, if you want important question and answers, you know, 170 questions I gave you in the passing package, and these 170 question and answers are available in Homeschool app. Okay, so you have study material option in Homeschool app. You have to download Homeschool app. Study material option is there. Go to the study material option. This free PDF of 170 question and answers are there. So if you can study these questions, you can easily pass in your science examination. So those who are finding difficulty to pass the examination, go for these questions, that will help you out. Okay, so that's all about the science revision video, guys. So thank you so much. All the best for your future and good luck.